Next, types of working capital. Working capital classified into two types. First one, permanent working capital. Second, temporary working capital. So let us discuss about permanent working capital. There is always a minimum level of working capital which is continuously required by a firm in order to maintain its activities like cash, stock, and other current assets in order to meet its business requirements, irrespective of the level of operations. Permanent working capital classified into two types: regular working capital and reserve working capital. Regular working capital. It is the minimum amount of liquid capital required to keep up the circulation of the capital from cash to inventory, inventory to receivables, and back again to cash. This would include a sufficient amount of cash to maintain reasonable quantities of raw materials for processing into finished goods to ensure quick delivery and etc. Next, reserve working capital. It is extra capital required to meet unforeseen contingencies that may arise in future. These contingencies may crop up on accounts of rise in prices, business depressions, strikes, lockouts, fires, and unexpected competitions. It is needed over and above the regular working capital. Next, temporary working capital. Temporary working capital also classified into two types: seasonal working capital and special working capital. Seasonal working capital. This capital required to meet seasonal demands of the enterprise. For example, a manufacturing of woolen textiles, refrigerators, or coolers may need extra funds to carry on production and to accumulate stock before the sales operations. Seasonal working capital being of short-term nature, it has to be finished from short-term source like banks, etc. Special or specific working capital. This capital is part of working capital is required to meet unforeseen contingencies like a slump, strike, flood, war, and etc. Additional working capital is to be arranged to meet special exigencies such as launching of extensive marketing campaigns, purchase of goods for stock in view of future increase in price, and etc.